Hey guys, welcome. This is Professor Eric Roldan. I'm here to discuss the review for Chapter 10, and I have basically all the questions from the quizzes that I have posted. And these quizzes you are welcome to do over and over again at your leisure. And they are available online to practice for this test and also for the final exam when we get to that point in the course. So we're going to take this one quiz at a time, starting with 10.1. And we're going to go quickly, as this is just a review. It's not, the purpose is not instruction. It's just to quickly see how these problems are calculated. So let's get started. So again, this is quiz 10.1. That's available online. You're welcome to do this at the same time as well. So definitely you're going to have different numbers, but same procedure. All right, well, first of all, 10.1 is the basic stuff. So we have changing decimals to percents. So we're just going to move this two places to the right. Okay. And as you can see, all the answers are already filled out on this form that I'm using. And that's just to verify the answers. Okay. So how did we get this? Well, I'm showing you up there. You just move the decimal two places to the right. And number 2 is a fraction, so we're just going to put this in our calculator. 2 divided by 5 in that order. That's going to give you 0.40, and then from there you move two places to the right. Okay. So we're just verifying these answers. 27.41%, we're changing to a decimal. So we're going to go ahead and move two places to the left. Okay. And there it is right there. And now we get a little application problem from your homework. And so we have a chart with different percentages. This is seawater elements, oxygen, hydrogen, chlorine, sodium, magnesium, and other elements. So the question, you may be asked different chemicals. In this particular question, this is how much milliliters you have. And it's asking how many milliliters of chlorine. So there's the chlorine. It's 1.94%. So we're going to calculate 1.94% of 800 milliliters, and we're just going to multiply this. So we're going to change this to a decimal, add a 0. So we're going to do this in our calculator and get 15.52. Okay. All right, number 5, we have a couple basic word problems for percentages. So we have 8.8% of 24 is what number? Okay, so the easiest way to do it is just to kind of translate this into point. So we're going to move this two places to the left. So we're going to have 0.088 times 24. So of means times, and you have to use this in other sections anyways. When we do tax and tip and sales and discounts and down payment. So that's pretty much the procedure for that. Put this in your calculator and you get the 2.11. Okay. Number 6, Sorry. Number 6, what percent of 192 is 14.2? Now you could use the is over of equals percent over 100 if you want. I don't think that's that necessary because we do have the part and we have the whole, and we can just make a fraction out of that. So we can just do part over whole, which is just 14.2 divided by 192. And that's going to give us 0.0740. And then we just move it 2 places to the right to get the percentage, and there it is. Okay. Next, we have a word problem. Jared's car normally gets fuel mileage of 38 miles per gallon. But on a recent trip, a headwind reduced his mileage by 17%. What was his car mileage on that recent trip? So we have that number, and we have a reduction by 17%. Okay, so basically we need to know what 17% of 38 is. So 0.17 times 38, that's 6.46. And then we need to reduce this. So this reduced means subtract. We're going to subtract 17%. So we're going to do the normal mileage, which is 38. We're going to get the reduced, is going to be reduced by how much? 6.46. And then you put this in your calculator and you get 31.54. Okay, and there it is. Oh, by the way, we're subtracting here. Okay. Next, we have the regular selling price of an item is $68 for a special year end, so that's important. The sale price is a marked on of 20%, so that's a 20% discount. So again, we're going to be subtracting this. Sorry. So markdown or sale both means you're going to reduce or subtract. Sorry about that. Subtract that 20%. All right, well, let's do 20% of $68. And that's 0.20 times 68, which is, $13.60. That's the discount. So we're going to say, okay, well, the regular price is $68. We have a discount of $13.60. We want to subtract that to see what the sale price is. And that's going to be $54.40. Okay, next we have number 9. Sales of a frozen pizza for a club fundraiser increased from 100 one year to 705 the next year. What was the percent increase? Okay, so basically we have the next year. This is the new, this is the old number. And so remember, it's going to be new minus old divided by old times 100 to remind us about the percentage, to convert it to a percentage. So 705 minus 500 divided by 500 times 100. So basically that's going to give us 0.41, which then we multiply by 100, so it's going to be 41%. All right, we have a few more in 10.1. Next page. We have the tipping question from your homework. This is a great question, as we all need to be educated on total cost for dinner, and that's going to be tax and tip. Okay, so we have the dinner costs $42.25 before tax. Okay, the tax rate in this particular state is 6%. In Florida, it's 7%, but we're going to use 6% for this problem. So the first question is, what is the tax? Okay, so what is the tax? So the tax is 6%. So 6% of 42.25. That's going to equal putting this in your calculator, remember 0.06, that's going to give us $2.54. There's that one. The tip, well, how much are we going to tip? Right here it says they decide, because you can decide between 15 and 20, so 19%. It's kind of a weird number, but that's what the problem says. So put this in your calculator, you're going to get $8.03. So the total cost then of the dinner is basically going to be the meal, which was $42.25 plus tax, $2.54 plus tip. And if you add all this up, you get 52 and 82 cents. There it is right there. All right, so that's 10.1 quiz. Now, before we get into 10.2, 3, and 4, I want to remind you that there is vocabulary on this test, and this is basically your word bank, okay? That's going to be on this test, and these definitions come from 10.2, 10.3, and 10.4, okay? So make sure you know these particular words. There's a bunch of other words in the textbook that we did not cover, and there's no need to read it or to memorize it, I should say. You can read it if you want. It's actually good stuff, but for the test, these are your words, okay? So make sure you have these. Not all of them will be used, but most of them will, okay? So make sure you jot these down or look these up. If you can't find it in your notes, you can find it in the textbook. Okay, great. Now we're going to get into simple interest in 10.2. So find the simple interest. And remember that the banker's rule, this is the banker's rule, okay? Not 365, but 360. So we know that I equals PRT. And so we have principal is $900, 6% for 1 year. Pretty straightforward. And that's $54 right there. Number 2, same thing, except we have 60 days. So remember, don't put 60 because that is a whole year. That's 60 years, so you have to put a fractional year. 60 days is not a full year, so there's your fraction of the year. And just type all this in your calculator, and you're going to get 12.25. Okay. Number 3, we have determine the missing value. Okay. So in this case, it's P. So I equals PRT. This is going to be the question right there. So we have the I is $119.58. The principal we don't know. The rate is 4%. And the time is 30 days out of 360 days. So when you clean up the right side, that's going to be a pretty big decimal. So this is a weird question, but we're going to have to just write down everything on your screen. So for me, it was 2 zeros and 7 threes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And the reason I have to do that is because if you round this too much, your answer is going to be way off, okay? So rounding this too much will definitely distort your answer because of rounding, not rounding mistakes, but just being imprecise or imprecise. So rounding it is making it approximate. So the more numbers you put, the better your answer is going to be. In this case, we're going to go ahead and divide both sides by all this. And should give you 35,874. Okay. Or you could this is actually 1 out of 300. So you could use that, multiply both sides by 300 if you wanted to. Okay, not a big deal. Just you're trying to get your answer as close as possible to 35,874. Okay. All right. Take a look at the next one. Alan borrowed $3,500 from his father to buy his car. That's important. That's the principal. So we'll call that P. 9 months. That's the time. Interest of 6%. That is the R. Now the question is, find the total amount he repaid. Okay, so this is not an interest question like we've just. This is going to give us the interest being charged to this loan, but it's not going to be the final answer. Okay, so 3,500.06, 9 months out of 12 months for the year. Put this all in your calculator, and this is going to give you $157.50. Okay, this is not the final answer because this is the charge, this is the interest, but remember the total that Alan has to repay is going to be the principal plus the interest. Okay, it's the total cost. You got to pay back what you borrowed and the cost of borrowing money. So it's 3,500 plus 157.50 cents, which is 3,657. And there it is right there. All right, let's go to number 5, last question in 10.2. Another word problem here. And so remember, we went over some problems with extremely high interest rates, okay? That you want to avoid as much as possible. So Eliza needs money to repair her home air conditioner, so she pawns her bicycle, okay? So the pawn shop is holding her bicycle. It's probably worth maybe $500, and the pawnbroker loans her a portion of that value right here, okay? So that's your principal. 20 days later, that's the time. Did I say Eliza? Maybe it's Alyssa. I don't know. Alyssa gets her bicycle back by paying the pawnbroker $294. So this is total repaid. Okay? What annual simple interest rate? So the R is the question. Okay? So we know we have simple interest. So we know we have our 270 is what she borrowed. We don't know R, and we know the time is going to be 20 days out of 360 days. But we need this I. And this I comes from the interest charge, which, as you can see, if she pays back $294, she borrowed $270. What's the difference between those two? Well, that means that the pawnbroker charged her $24. Okay? So this is I. So we're going to put that right here where the I goes. Then we're going to clean this up. So all that is just 15R. Divide both sides by 15. And we get 1.6. Okay. So where did this 160 come from? It comes from remembering that the rate is a percentage. So we got to convert this to a percentage, which means we need to add a 0. And that's going to create 160%. Okay, so this is the extremely high interest rate, which is basically a ripoff, but that is available and people do it. So know what you're getting into. All right, so that's it for 10.2. Let's go ahead and go to 10.3. Okay, so we've made it to compound interest 10.3. So, remember the compound interest formula looks like this. Okay, and so we just want to make sure we know what is what. There's so many things to keep track of here. Okay. So use the compound interest formula to compute the total amount accumulated. So this is the account balance in the future. We don't know what that is, but the principal is right here. This is T and this is R. And this is, so compounded annually is, this calculation happens once a year. All right, so rate is 0.02. N is 1, time is 4. 4 years. Okay, so let's just plug everything in. Whoops. That is not right. Sorry. So annually is 1, sorry. 1 times 4. Okay. So this ends up being 1.02 to the 4th power. And put this in your calculator. Remember, this is an exponent, okay? Sorry about that. So a little 4, it's not times 4, it is raised to the 4th power. Put this in your calculator and you have 1,233 and 97 cents. There it is. Okay. And we have it again. Okay, so we have the accounts that we don't know. Present value, so this is P, T, R, and N this time equals 4, because quarterly means it happens 4 times a year. This calculation happens, so your account grows faster. That's supposed to be a P. So 1,400. Okay, 5%. 3. Sorry. Quarterly for 3 years. So let's plug these in. 0.05 divided by 4. 4 times 3. So I recommend you put 0.05 divided by 4. It's going to give you 0.125. Just add that to 1, so 1 point that decimal. And then 4 times 3 you can do in your head. And now you can type this in. Whoops, that's not what I meant. 1,625 and 6 cents. There he is. Okay, so okay, this time we have a slightly different question. It says use the present value formula. Now you don't have to use this formula. You can keep doing it the way you can use the A formula and just divide at the end. But I'm going to go ahead and use the present value formula since we're going to provide it on the test. So the desired accumulated accounts, okay, this is A. All right. This is T. This is R. And semi-annual, that is N equals 2. Okay. So this time, we want to divide both sides by the parentheses. So it's going to be basically the formula. Just puts the parentheses under the A. That's the only difference. Okay. So A is 6,000. P, we don't know. R is 0.04. N is 2, and time is also 2. 2 years. So 6,000 divided by 1 plus 0.04 divided by 2, 2 raised to the 2 power. So basically 1.02 raised to the 4th power. Put this in your calculator, and you're going to get 5,543 and 7 cents. There he is. Okay. Number 4. So Mikado's savings account has a balance of 3,254. That is P after 6 years. What will the amount of interest be at 4? So this is the rate. Okay. The amount of interest is I, and we just don't know that. Okay. This is going to be how much was gained. All right. This is annually is 1. So we don't know the account balance in the future, but we do know the present value. The rate is 0.045, n equals 1, and t is 6. Okay, let's put this in. Whoops. So 1.045 raised to the 6th power. This gives us $4,237.55. Okay, guys, so this is not the answer because this is, yes, this is A. This is correct. But the question is how much interest is earned, okay? And so the question is interest earned or gained. Remember, this is an investment, so you're trying to make money off this. So that's going to be the bigger number minus the original number. And that's going to give us $983.55. Okay. And there it is. Okay, a few more questions in this section. Number 5, how much money should you invest now to have $7,000 in 10 years if you invest the money at a rate of 1.4% compounded semi-annually? So how much do you have to invest now? That is P. We don't know it. This is A. This is in the future. This is T. This is R. And semi-annual is twice a year. So we have the 7,000. We don't know P. R, where's R? 0.014. N is 2. T is 10. And so we can use the P formula. which means we're going to put 7,000 over 1 plus 0.014 divided by 2. .07, I believe. Nope, there's 2 zeros, sorry. So 1.007 raised to the 20th power, that's going to give 6,000, sorry, 6,088 and 48 cents. Okay, rule of 72. Technically, it's a vocab word, but basically, where's it at? There it is. Simply divide 72 by the interest rate, okay? So, in this question, the definition is given to you. In the test, it will not be given to you, okay? So, basically, it's to double your money, all right? So, all you need to look at is the interest rate. Take 72 divided by 2. That's 36 years. 72 divided by 6%. Just divide by 6. Don't change it to a decimal. That's going to give you 12 years. Okay. 18%. That's pretty good. That's going to be 4 years. 24%, even better. That's going to be 3 years. And those are all the answers to those. Now, this last one's not on the test, but I'm going to help you out with this one for this quiz, okay? So basically, what is the interest rate? You gotta solve here. What is the interest rate if 126 doubles in approximately 17 years, okay? So if you know the answer is 17 years, what is the interest rate? So basically, you can just do, you can put 17 over 1 and cross multiply. That's going to give you 17R equals 72. Divide both sides by 17. And you get 4.24. Okay? So no big deal. Just a little twist to the rule of 72, but it's not going to be on the test. Just the basic ones, okay? All right, that's it for 10.3. Let's go to our last section, 10.4 monthly payments. All right, made it to the end here. This is the section that gives most of the calculations. I mean, it gives you a lot of calculations to do. So, in order to make some home improvements, a homeowner spent $32,000, okay? Now, the homeowner did not use $32,000 of cash, okay? He put only 15% of that number as a down payment. So there's your cash right there, okay? $32,000 is a lot of money, so put a piece of it, and then you only have to borrow the remainder, okay? So the first thing we need to do is say, okay, how much cash was put into this amount right there? So that's basically 15% of $32,000. Put that in your calculator. You're going to get $4,800. So this is the cash that was put into this purchase. Okay. So if you don't have the full amount, you have to borrow the rest. Okay. Well, how much we're going to borrow? Well, $32,000 minus the cash or the down payment you just put into this leaves you with $27,200. That's going to be your loan. Okay. So when we do our 3 steps, we're going to base our 3 steps on our loan, not on the original price. Okay. So the finance charge. Oh, sorry. So he's gonna finance the rest, which is $27,200. It's gonna take him 3 years to pay it off at this rate right here. Okay. So step 1 in this process is to go to the table and basically look at 36 months and 4.5%. Okay. So we go 36 and 4.5%. So by the way, this is page 593 in your textbook. You will have this on the test. So, my bad. 36 months, 4.5. So there's 36. There's 4.5. And right there. $7.09 per 100. Okay, remember this is per 100. So that per 100 makes us do step 2. So when we go to step 1, we know that this is $7.09. Step 2, basically it's how many hundreds, which is just divide. Well, let me not put that, sorry. Let's put divide loan by 100. There we go. Okay, so your loan is going to be 27,200 divided by 100. That's going to give us 272. Okay. So what do we do with those two numbers? We just multiply them. So the last step is to multiply step 1 and 2. So that's basically your two answers. You multiply them. 709 times 272. And that equals $1,928, 48 cents, looks like. So I really couldn't understand why I'm off so much on my calculation, but we can see that the answer is right there. That's the closest one. We're off a little bit, okay? So now, when I do the second step, it definitely gets closer to the monthly payment. I think it's because the textbook is using the big formula, and the big formula is going to be more precise. So I'm not really sure. Well, let's just do. So this is how much it costs. Okay, this is the cost to borrow. Or the finance charge. Okay, so that is an extra cost on top of your loan. So you got to add this to your loan. So the monthly payment is going to be basically your loan plus your interest or the finance charge divided by how many months you're going to take to pay this off. So basically we have, hey, 27,200 loan plus 1,928.48 cents divided by 36 months. If you put this in your calculator, you're going to get $109.12. And there's that number. Okay. So if you look at my calculations in blue, we have we had to get the down payment. That's 15% of 32,000. We have to subtract it from the price, so we can get how much we're gonna have to borrow. Then we have to get to the table, divide, multiply. So right there, that's 5 steps. And then the 6th step is this one here. Okay. So again, this requires the most amount of calculations. As we can see, in this case, 6 steps. So the best thing to do, if you haven't done already, is pause the video and try it on your own, and then see how you did. Okay, so that's what I would recommend for number 2. And then let's go ahead and read this guy here. Let's use a different color here. So a restaurant owner purchased a new dishwasher for $2,000. Okay, that's the price. There's going to be some cash put into the deal. So we need 8% of the price to see how much cash was put in. And that's $160. Okay. Now, the balance, the balance is going to be, okay, well, it costs this much, I'm paying this much, and this is how much I owe, $1,840. This is going to be, so this is the cash put in, this is the loan, okay, $1,840. And now we need to calculate the finance charge. So that's 3 easy steps, 1, 2, 3. So from the table, it's 12 months, a 12-month loan at 8.5%. So we go over here and we see 12-month, 8.5%. Right there. Okay, so $4.66. Okay. Now, how many hundreds are we borrowing? So it is 1840 divided by 100. That's going to be 18.4. Then we multiply those two. and we get $85.74, okay? And it's not an exact match, but it's the closest one. And if we go ahead and do the monthly payment form, is going to be a lot closer to our answer. So we're just going to do, okay, how much are we borrowing? This much. How much does it cost to borrow that much? This much. Okay, so if you put those two together, that's your total bill, and you're going to pay it off in 12 months. So that's going to give us this amount right here. Whoops. Okay. So I did that a little bit quicker, a little less explanation, and just kind of did numbers for you, okay? All right. But still, we did our 5 calculations. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. Well, we just looked up the table. So anyways, 5 math problems. This is just a table problem. Just look at the table. Okay, but pretty much 6 steps. Okay, number 3, just some more practice here. Okay, got a bill. We're gonna put some cash down. That's how long we're gonna borrow the balance, and at this percentage rate. Okay, well, let's do 8% of the price. That's going to give us $440. Then we subtract that cash from the price. That's going to give us, $5,060. Okay. So that's going to be our loan right there. So this is the cash, this is the loan. And now we're going to be investigating that amount. 3 easy steps. So we need to go to 24 and 7. 24 and 7. So 24 and 7 right there. $7.45 per 100. And how many hundreds? Well, we're borrowing this much, divided by 100. By the way, this is loan. That's going to be 50.6. Multiply those two, and we get 376 and 97 cents. It's close. Actually, they both match right there. Okay, so when we get to the second part, you'll know exactly which one it is. So monthly payment. So we're borrowing this much. This is the interest or the finance charge. And 24 months. That'll give us the answer, okay? All right, guys. That was a little bit faster. So last question here, guys. Last question. And this is number 4 in the quiz, 10.5. I'm sorry, 10.4. Number 4. This is a little chart. And basically, we're not gonna put, there's no down payment here, okay? So this one's no down payment, so we can skip that step, thank God. So we're borrowing this much. There's our APR, sorry. And our time is not 12 or 2, it's both of those together. So it's 12 payments in a year for 2 years. That's 24 payments, okay, or 24 months. Okay, so we just go straight to our 3-step process here. So we're looking at 9% and 24 months. So 24 months and 9%. If I follow that across, so $9.64. Great. We're borrowing $900, so if you divide by 100, you get 9, and then those multiply those two, and you get 86.76. And so then our monthly payment is $900 plus our finance charge, our interest, divided by 24 months. And that's going to be 41 and 12 cents. Boom! All right, guys, we are done. So I hope you study, do all your homework. I hope you watch this video, because you're going to get a lot of questions that look like these. And you can watch this as many times as you need to. Take the quizzes as many times as you need to, but you're going to be just fine, okay? Work hard, trust in God, believe in yourself. All right? So have a great time studying, and I will see you in class. God bless.